It was just a normal Friday, until the loudspeaker came on, and the dean's voice told us we were in danger. It was 7th period calculus, the final class before spring break. Everyone was restless, just counting down the minutes. Our teacher was pretty laid back, so instead of reviewing derivatives, he pulled up Sporkle on the projector and we started doing trivia. We were on a brand logo quiz, and my friend had just shouted,
Adidas?
When the loudspeaker beeped. The dean's voice came through, but it was shaking, panicked.
This is not a drill. Teachers, initiate lockdown now.
Instant goosebumps. Our teacher jumped up, killed the lights, and rushed us all to the back corner of the classroom. No one spoke. A minute later, the quiet electrical hum in the room shut off completely. The entire school had cut the power. That's when it hit us. This wasn't a mistake. This was real. A few minutes passed in dead silence. Then we heard it. A man screaming down the hallway. Not words, just a raw, violent, unstable scream. A couple of girls in the class started crying softly. No one dared to move. We just listened as the screaming got closer and closer. Then bang, metal slammed against metal. He was hitting the lockers, one by one, still yelling at the top of his lungs. But this time, we could make out words.
I'll kill all of you!
My heart just stopped. I'd never heard anything so terrifying in my life. His footsteps dragged closer, right toward our door. And then, boom, he slammed into it with his full weight. One of the crying girls whispered,
No.
And somehow he heard her. He hit the door even harder and screamed,
Open up!
The handle rattled violently. 2 girls were openly sobbing now, their hands over their mouths. The rest of us were completely frozen. I could feel the floor shake with every single impact. It felt like an eternity, but eventually, the banging stopped. We heard his footsteps fade, and the screaming just drifted away into silence. 10 minutes later, which felt more like half an hour, the dean's voice came back over the speaker. He explained that a mentally unstable man had entered the school. He'd attacked the woman at the front desk, but she managed to escape and scream for help. The staff didn't know if he was armed. There were no cameras, no security guards, nothing. They searched the halls, but they couldn't find him. He said classes would continue, but all the doors had to stay locked for the rest of the day. Later that night, one of the janitors finally found him. He was asleep, curled up in a storage closet at the very back of the school. In his hand, he was holding a .44 Magnum. Before the police could arrive, he slipped away. And to this day, no one knows if he was ever caught. Sometimes I try to believe he's out there somewhere, getting the help he so clearly needs. But other times, late at night, I think about how easily he walked in, and I can't shake this cold, chilling feeling that he never really left. We thought it was just another rainy school day. But before lunch even started, everything changed. And none of us realized how close danger really was. My school has 2 lunch periods, one for 6th graders and part of 7th, and the second for the rest of 7th and all of 8th. The lockdown happened in early October, on one of those gray, rainy days where the whole sky just feels heavy and grim. I was in the middle of first lunch period when I heard 4 loud booms. At first, I figured it was just thunder, but then the entire lunch crowd started screaming. Before I could even process what was happening, campus security rushed in, yelling for everyone to move into the multipurpose room. Kids who were still in line for food had to throw it all out and run inside. Me and my friends got swept up in this massive wave of students, everyone confused, everyone trying to figure out what was going on. Our multipurpose room is huge, and one entire wall is made of see-through glass. But as soon as we got in, staff started pulling these heavy curtains across it, fast like they didn't want us to see something outside. Adults were stationed at every single exit. They weren't smiling, they weren't talking. They were just watching. The room was packed with terrified students, whispering and looking around. all sitting on the floor or benches in the dim light. My friend Eric finally got the nerve to ask one of the adults what was happening. When he came back to us, he looked pale. He leaned in and whispered,
You know those houses across from the school?
I nodded.
Yeah.
He took a deep breath.
There's a man out there, not stable, and he's barricaded himself inside his house. He's threatening to commit suicide and kill the cops if he's evicted.
He paused, then added the part that made my blood run cold.
Security says he was walking around earlier, watching kids.
The whole room went dead silent, and then Eric added one more thing.
Man was also a registered sex offender.
That's when the real fear set in. We were stuck in that room for over an hour to 2. No one was allowed to leave. The rain just hammered against the glass behind the curtains, and every little sound made someone jump. The security guards were talking urgently into their walkie-talkies, the crackling static filling the tense silence. When things finally settled and they began escorting us to our classrooms one by one, nobody felt relieved. If anything, the silence in the hallways made everything feel even worse, more eerie. It wasn't until later that I found out something that made this whole situation even more disturbing. One of my friends, Brandy, actually lived on the same street as the man. She told me about something she saw the previous Halloween. She'd looked out her window and saw him standing at his own window, with what looked like blood all over his arm. He was using it to write a message across the glass. Don't come here or I'll kill you. Back then, she thought it was just some creepy Halloween stunt, but after the lockdown, we knew it wasn't a joke. He never came near the school again, thankfully. But knowing he'd been watching kids, knowing he was a threat we didn't even realize existed, it changed the way I walked home. It changed the way all of us looked at that street. If you like slow, creepy horror stories like this, please like the video and subscribe. And also keep your doors locked.